I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Hey y'all, it's Kate from Literary Apothecary and welcome back to another episode of Books My Boyfriend Gave Me. Now today we're going to be talking about A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Yes, that book, book one in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. This was, yes, my very first time reading this book. I've watched the TV series. I absolutely loved it, especially the first couple seasons, and I've always, ever since I've watched the TV show, I've wanted to read the books, and I finally got a chance to do it. And I absolutely loved it, y'all. These are going to be a couple short reviews this week because I'm still getting over COVID and I still got that lingering cough, so I can't talk for very long without coughing. But let me just tell you about A Game of Thrones. So I don't think I really need to do a spoiler-free summary of what it's all about. I feel like anyone that's watching this knows what A Game of Thrones is all about. We've got some warring families fighting for who will sit on the Iron Throne and rule all of the seven kingdoms. We've got the Starks and the Lannisters and the Targaryens, the Baratheons, and everyone that surrounds them, all of their support people, all of their, henchmen and whatnot. You've got mystery, intrigue, politics, war. It's a political fantasy, some say like one of the first Grimdarks series. What worked for me was, first of all, the political intrigue. I have to be in the right mood for political intrigue, but George R.R. Martin did so well with this. He had me on the edge of my seat the entire book. Even though I knew what was going to happen. I mean, that's the beauty of his writing, because I've seen the TV series, I knew what was going to happen by the end of the book. I knew how it was going to end, but I also was totally surprised. I got to a moment where I was like, wait, I don't remember it happening like that. And then it turned out it didn't, and he just had that intrigue and that suspense built in so well that I still didn't know how things were going to shake out. His character work, let's talk about his amazing characters. They are so gritty, so real. They just feel, just like his world and everything about it feels so real. My favorite characters in just book one, A Game of Thrones, include Arya, Daenerys, Tyrion, and Ser Jorah. I loved every time these characters were on the page. I ate up that moment. He's got an very expansive world building. This world, like I said, felt so real. It feels like you can travel to Westeros and see King's Landing and Winterfell and Dorne and the Wall in the north. Everything about this world building in this world and George R. R. Martin's setting descriptions just felt so real, like they were actually real places. Now, obviously, he based these off of places in his mind, but he still had to make up these details, and that, to me, is where I'm amazed at writers, because these characters and these places felt so real to me that I, at times, forgot I was reading a fantasy book. And the other thing that really worked well for me when I was reading this book was that I felt he did a really great job at balancing all the multiple point of views. We get a lot of different point of views in this book, but the way that George R. R. Martin handles these points of views is each chapter gives us a different point of view of someone. We don't get one chapter with multiple point of views. Each chapter is its own point of view. I'm not sure I'm explaining that correctly, but y'all know what I mean. One chapter is in Tyrion's point of view, one chapter is in Arya's, one chapter is in Sansa's point of view, and so on and so on. We get a lot of different points of views, but not in one single chapter. And to me, that's how you balance out multiple point of views, so your reader does not get confused at who is speaking and who we're supposed to be seeing events happen through. Now, as much as I absolutely loved of Game of Thrones, and this was my favorite read in the entire month of February. I read a lot of fantastic books in February, but this was my favorite read. I didn't think it was absolutely perfect. It was done amazing, so well that I had to give it 5 stars. But the thing that kind of took a little bit away for me was that there was so much detail and description that at times I got a little bit lost, just lost in the world and not the story. I never lost track of the story, but I did get lost in the world sometimes. But like I said, I absolutely loved A Game of Thrones so much. I am already in the middle, almost towards the end of the second book, A Clash of Kings, and I can't wait to see, where this story goes and how it differs from the TV show. One of the things that I always look at when I am watching a TV show based on books is how the two differ, and where they differ and why they differ. And so I know that especially towards the end of the season, the TV series, when they ran out of the books, the source material, they had to make up their own stuff and imagine where they thought the story was going to go. And I know some of the ending is different than George R.R. Martin had imagined, but he hasn't finished writing the series yet. So I'm really interested to see where these big changes really start to happen in this series. And I can't wait to talk to y'all about A Clash of Kings. That review will probably come next month, so stay tuned for that. But that's it for now. So that's it for now about A Game of Thrones. Let me know in the comments below who's your favorite character in this book or this series if you've read the whole series. Or even if you've watched the TV show and haven't read the books yet, who's your favorite in the TV show? I find that some of my favorites from the TV show are still my favorites in the books. So let me know in the comments below who is your favorite. As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.